My name is Ashley Cordova. I'm the sixth of 9 generations to have a connection to the Spanish colony. A connection while volunteering for a similar street mural project in Andersonville. I had a vision to have a street mural installed in the Spanish colony. During the past year, I spearheaded this project alongside my cousin Doug Cordova and my friend Moses O'Kelly, who is the artist. We spent over 50 plus weekly meetings, community engagements, numerous hours of footwork. On Sunday, October 16th, we painted history honoring our past, present, and future generations. Those who have lived, worked, and died in the Spanish colony. Just to the southwest is where the Great Western Sugar Beet Factory once stood, where los mañanitos y mañanitas worked with the short hoe. Thank you to my ancestors for paving the way, showing us a better way of life for those who have pursued and furthered their education, so we did not have to endure the endless, tirelessly back-breaking labor. Thank you for sacrificing your lives and leaving your families to serve our country. El Corazon de la Colonia, the heart of the colony.
My name is Nick Hyman. I'm Cultural Community Programs Manager for the City of Fort Collins. Prior to transitioning into this role, however, I worked with our FC Moves department, and in 2020 championed the creation of the internal process to formalize our Asphalt Art projects. What Asphalt Art means to me is not only an opportunity to integrate different forms of public art into the community, but more importantly, to celebrate the cultures and heritages that are reflected in the designs. In this particular design, El Corazon de Colonia, what we see is the blending and the merging of American flags with Mexican flags and the New Mexican and Colorado flags as well, with the intention of paying homage to the people who have lived here for generations, who have sacrificed, lived, and died in this community, in an effort to continue to bring that to the forefront of our mind and celebrate as a community what makes us unique, and that is everyone's individual identities and contributions.
My name is Anna Kelso. I've been working with Nick for a while now on the Asphalt Art project, and it's been a huge honor and privilege that the city trusts us so much to do these projects. And like I said before, every time it's like a Christmas miracle when you see community come out and you start the day with a completely blank street and you end the day with a masterpiece that was created when community comes together. And I'm now the active mode specialist with FC Moves and program manager for the Asphalt Art projects. And I'm really excited about the potential for asphalt art in conjunction with other traffic calming measures to really change our built environment at a faster rate and at less cost than we would see if we were trying to put in a big roundabout or pour concrete curbs. So there's this huge component to traffic calming is a huge component of asphalt art. And then the other big piece of these projects is the community that is created and the conversations that are had between families that live in the same neighborhood and have never crossed paths. It's an opportunity for capacity building and folks in the neighborhood learning how to advocate for what they need and learning that they can work with the city and identify issues and advocate for issues and see change happen in a quick timeline. So anyway, I could go on and on about asphalt art, but I think it's the way of the future, and I think it's the way that Fort Collins. That the city of Fort Collins is going to really lead the way and be the trendsetter in continuing to be one of the most bicycle-friendly communities in the country.
Hi, I'm Jerry Gawadon. I'm a lifelong resident of Fort Collins. I grew up in this area with my parents. I'd come from other parts of town. We still have my grandmother's house in Andersonville. I'm currently the board president for the Museo de las Tres Colonias. We're over on Romero Street in Kent. And besides that, the asphalt art, which I like to focus with, is the work that Nick and Ann have done has brought a new element and dimension for community service and community engagement with the museo, the neighborhoods, because there's a vast history that needs to be untapped, and this is one way. And with Bike Fort Collins, I'll throw a pitch. I'm an avid bike rider too, and we didn't get around in cars. We got around on bikes, so try to promote that. And with the work done with the mural artists, are really giving back to our history and our culture in the 3 neighborhoods, as well as throughout the city of Fort Collins, because there's a lot of neat generation of energies, history, and reaching out to us past residents, lifelong residents, means a lot because we have so much to share, and the murals demonstrate a lot of that. And very pleased that the work of Nick and Anna and our Councilwoman Susan Gutowski in support has been so beneficial to us. And I'd like to say just thank you so much, everyone.
And I'm Susan Gutowski. I'm on Fort Collins City Council, District 1, this district, best district in the city. I always say that, but it's true. And the thing that I love the most about District 1 is the diversity of culture, of interest, of demographics, of just everything. You know, it's a joy to serve. And one of the things that I take a lot of pleasure seeing is the way that we're trying very, very hard, as Anna was saying, to work with traffic, because traffic's just, anybody would tell you, is probably the evil person in Fort Collins. And if we can find ways to get people out of their cars and onto the streets in other ways, whether it be bike, whether it be pedestrian, or that type of thing, we work very hard. So in addition to doing new bike lanes and ways of making it easier, especially for commuter bikers, if we can do it, like you were saying, the traffic calming aspect of using our streets in a natural sort of way to give people, great pleasure to ride your bike on a street like that, or to walk. And they're not only here, there's one on Romero, there's one in McKinley,
Hickory,
I think, and Hickory and Roosevelt. So they're appearing everywhere in the city, throughout the city. Kind of like the alleys that we have downtown, where it's a pleasure just to walk and enjoy, and just, as I always say, just lay like broccoli and relax. That's the way I'm looking at the murals. And so, I too could say so much more, but I'm looking at the traffic calming thing and the beauty and the culture and all of that, and it's just all coming together. So it's a pleasure to see it happening.
Thank you.
Okay.
So the mural in Alta Vista came about actually during the development and actually installation of our first mural in Andersonville near the Museo, when I happened to introduce myself to Ashley Cordova. The Cordovas own 2 parcels in this neighborhood, one of which is one of the original adobe structures in the Alta Vista neighborhood, which was then called the Spanish Colony. Ashley has done a lot of work in Fort Collins to tell the story and the history of her family, and how that is very similar and yet to a degree very different from the experience of others that have spent their lives in these colonies as well. So fast forward, and once our first 3 projects were done in 2021, Anna and I immediately set sights on our 4th project, and we thought, well, we already have a champion in the community in Ashley Cordova. Let's see if they'd be interested in bringing this together. And sure enough, they were. And so in February of 2022, we began kicking off community engagement with a series of neighborhood events so that we could hear from the community what they wanted to see reflected in an asphalt art project, which ultimately is how we arrived at the concept. The artist himself is actually a close personal friend of Ashley, and went to high school with Ashley in Fort Collins. He's also active duty military, and so to be able to bring in an active service member into a project like this, I think really ties all of the important components together, talking about different ways that community members from the Spanish Colony and now present-day Alta Vista have contributed to not just life in Fort Collins in the state of Colorado, but across our nation as well.
And what is the artist's name?
The artist of El Corazon de Colonia is Moses O'Kelly.
If I could just add a quick footnote too, I really wanted to circle back and just underline how when we humanize our built environment, people live and drive in that built environment as if humans are there. So when we see art in the street, it humanizes our built environment, and it signals to drivers and cyclists and pedestrians that these streets are for the people, that there's bikes and pedestrians using the streets, vulnerable road users, as well as cars. So anyways, anytime we can humanize our built environment, it really changes our perspective and how we interact with each other and treat each other at intersections. And
One thing to add, if I may, is the themes of these murals. The Sugar Beet over in Andersonville on Romero Street is significant, and along with Sugar Beet Park, because many of us worked and grew up in the sugar beet fields. I'd done my share. And coming over to Alta Vista is another way of sharing our recognition of our military, because along with my dad and uncles, they all served and gave their best in World War II and currently today. And then the other neighborhoods have their own themes, which really means that there's a little bit of history localized, because we have Fort Collins, but we have individual histories that mean a lot. So, and with with the three neighborhoods here, it's important. So I look forward to seeing more of these murals around our community. Thank you.
And I'd like to add one more thing. As a city person, as a city council member, one of our major goals is to create a community, the best community possible for all of our residents. And so I'm thinking about the fact we say, open spaces are wonderful for health because you breathe better. It's just vitality. But the other thing too, art. I don't know what life would be like if we didn't have art. And this is a beautiful form of art, as we have murals and all sorts of things throughout the community. But when you combine that with multi-modality, you're combining the art, you're combining pedestrian, you're combining
the history and the community
and the history and the culture, and it's like
almost too much to take
oh
in.
my gosh, this is huge melange of things that we're doing, and it's all for the benefit of the community. And it's just the beauty that makes Fort Collins so special, in addition to the gorgeous trees that you see today.
It's a way of giving back and embracing and continuing to grow. And that's what makes it important. And with folks like Anna and Nick and Susan supporting through the council leadership, hey, we got the best things going for us. Thank you.
I'll add one last thought. When we set out to design our Asphalt Art program, something that was really important to both Anna and I was that city staff would take a relative back seat to these projects. That we didn't want community to feel as if this was the city supplanting its ideas of what art should be, or how we should use our public spaces like streets. Instead, Anna and I really set out to design a program that was community driven and done at the pace at which community members wanted to see it done. And so while Anna and I have both provided a lot of support to this particular project as well as the other three, I really have to say that this is driven by community members and specifically the neighbors in closest proximity to these projects, which I think is so incredible and such a way to honor and celebrate the community members, but also to integrate a form of art that really speaks to each individual neighborhood's values and what they want to see in their community.
I agree.
Thank you.
Well said.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you all.